What is happening, y'all? Welcome into Believe in Kentucky. My name is Vinny Hardy, flying solo on this episode. The homie Cole Park is doing his thing for the Cat's Paws, getting uh, content, articles, uh, video quotes, and all that good stuff for the Cat's Paws. Uh, UK football post practice media availability. When he's on here, he is talking about who he has talked with, the coordinators, Coach Stein, the players that have been made available. Cole has all of that hot off the presses, right out of the horse's mouth. And then you see all of the articles that he is putting out on the Cat's Paws and 247 and all that good stuff. So we'll get Cole back on the next episode. Had to juggle some stuff around and move stuff around and all that good stuff. But we'll have Cole back as we continue to march forward towards the football season. Um, 2 weeks from Saturday, it is Youngstown State. They'll be moving into the game prep and all that good stuff. We had the first scrimmage and gets us to the point to where I say, now we're camping. I talked about it last week, and you all know everybody that's followed sports, Kentucky, pro, college, whatever you do, various points and stages of the summer of the season, you see and hear the same things, just different people saying it, but it's that same phase of camp. I said last week, here in a few weeks, we'll talk about how all the guys are looking forward to hitting somebody in a different jersey. Looking forward to Youngstown State so you can, you know, hit somebody with the Y, the penguin, instead of just beating up on each other in practice and the scrimmages. Another little nugget coming out of the scrimmage is you're gonna have the coaches, you know, liking what they see or disliking what they see. Depending on how the practice goes, one coordinator will be cool with what happened. The other coordinator will be a little bit like, I can't wait to get them tomorrow and get back at it and get this bad taste out of our mouth. Coach Stein kind of talked about how he, as you've heard probably by now, maybe seen by now, wasn't loving, the energy, the vibe. Um, Started with the way they stretched, and it carried over into the entire scrimmage. First time in Kroger Field, he thought the energy would have been better. He thought it would have been more hype or more fired up. Wasn't panicking, but was still disappointed. Talked about how they struggled initially in his days at Oregon and still went on to lead the country in scoring, even though they didn't score a touchdown in that first scrimmage. So it was, didn't care for what we saw. Got a lot of work to do. Still got time to fix it. Not worried about it continuing to persist, but got to get the train moving. So it was a lot of all of that at the same time after that first scrimmage. So that's why I say now we're camping. Now they're in it because these are the things you see, these are the things you hear. Uh, then fans and media speculate, was the defense way ahead of the offense? Is the defense going to be really good? Offense going to struggle? Vice versa? And it changes from practice to practice. Uh, how will they do against other teams? Will this defense really do this well against SEC offenses? Same for the offense. Are they going to struggle against other defenses? Are they going to light up the defenses? Can't know until you play somebody else. So this is the type of sound bites you get at this stage of camp. So now we're camping. Now we're in it. We'll see what transpires going forward. We'll see how it fluctuates. We'll see how it ebbs and it flows because it always does. But we're getting closer and closer to first game with each passing day. So that is something to look forward to. Definitely happy about that for sure. Um, we had some other sports going on as well, or making news as well. Do have some sports that actually started this season. But on the basketball side, season hasn't started yet, but the closer we get to football season, this basketball season will be right behind it. Biggest thing that happened since Cole and I were on last was the addition of Wichita State to the schedule, and it'll spice up the schedule. Uh, um, this was a few years back. It would really spice up the schedule back when Kentucky was going toe to toe with Wichita State for a while there. That epic battle in the tournament when they were undefeated. Kentucky was the underdog 8 seed and knocked them out. So uh, it's a notable name. So as far as that goes, it's carries some weight. Um, but a few years back, it would have maybe moved the needle more for me. If we look at Wichita State, let's see the history. Yeah, haven't played them since 2017. According to Big Blue History, John Scott site, the Guru. So that's 9 years ago. Um, if this was 2 years removed from playing them, and we get them in Rupp Arena, ooh, have a little more sizzle. But it's been a little minute. You know, Played them in 2014, uh, beat them 78-76. Played them in 2017, beat them 65-62. That was in the second round, South Regional in Indy. So uh, that is 9 years ago. So there's a lot of us that still remember those games. There's some youngins coming up that don't know about it, but it does add a little beef to the schedule, um, spices it up a little bit. So we'll take that as far as that goes. Um, a team that is playing, we said we got some teams that are going. The women's soccer is already going. Uh, Volleyball has had some exhibitions. They are fixing to ramp it up. Uh, Season starts Friday for them. Get that up. They're going to be in. And speaking of, mention teams from years gone by. Let me get that out. I got the wrong thing. They're going to be in Wisconsin. So, all of us that are old enough to remember uh, anything with our interactions with Wisconsin, you want to see them do well. The first serve, sponsored by Jeep in Milwaukee. They're going to be playing Wisconsin in Milwaukee. So, Coach Skinner was on, I think, the Leach Report this morning with Dick Gabriel, friend of the show. And it's nothing neutral about this season opener. We're playing Wisconsin in Milwaukee. Going to be a hostile crowd. Wisconsin's always good. And Coach Skinner always does this. He has those gauntlet schedules in the non-conference. And then, sometimes they go through that and handle it. There's been years where they took some lumps and, I think had 7 losses one year going into SEC play, but they have ran off 9 straight SEC championships, won a national championship, runner-up last year in the championship game. I still just marvel at the quote with Coach Skinner saying that he was now rejuvenated after coming up short last year. I said, he's done all this and he was maybe starting to lose a little bit of juice, and now he's recharged. Look out, man. Look out. So you got a rejuvenated Craig Skinner going into this season. Every season is different. Every team is different, but his track record speaks for itself. And you can argue, but Kentucky volleyball has been the best sport on campus for a long time now, and they look to add to their legacy and their body of work. So keep your eye on the volleyball team as they get it started Friday up there in America's Dairyland, Wisconsin. Like I said, we know our history with them on the basketball side. I hate to bring up a sad note, but I have to bring up a sad note now. Uh, some of you all may know, uh, member of the BBN passed away today. Bled bluer than anybody. Great person. She was in the media. Tina Cox, you may remember her. May have read her articles, may have seen her tweets, may have heard her on various different podcasts. Got to know Tina 12 years ago. It's way over a decade now. This is back when former Cat Cameron Mills had a website and a radio show. It was the Mills Show, CameronMillsRadio.com. Got to know Tina because we did some writing for Cameron Mills's website. And would be on the show sometimes, radio shows on Sunday nights there in Lexington. I think 6:30 WLAP. It was Fox Sports 1580 for a time. I got to know Tina through that, and she was just the absolute best. Uh, Always fun, always energetic, always sassy, always up to something. There'd be so many stories. If you see her on Twitter, there were stories of her courtside, beside the mascots in the tournament games. Uh, she met Sister Jean from Iowa in the tournament one time. Um, they are media members' phone numbers that I have now, contacts because of Tina Cox. She knew them and got me different people's numbers and things of that nature. We would have yearly get-togethers when we were writing for Cameron Mills' site. Sometimes it'd be in Lexington. Times it was at Danville, at her place. End of the year get-togethers, and just a little thank you, appreciation that Cam would have for everybody that was writing on the website and helping out on the show and things of that nature. So you always get to see Tina there. We went out to eat one time. It was Kentucky playing UCLA. De'Aaron Fox was cooking Lonzo Ball, and so it was just always so much fun. Even in this photo here, just having a ball. Paintsville High School legend and Marshall Thunder, her legend, J.R. Van Hoos, is back there in the background. So it was always fun. And so Tina had scaled back and stopped writing. She wrote for Larry Vaught. And if you know anything about the media, Larry Vaught's another media giant there in Danville, Boyle County. Wrote for the paper for years. Then started his own site, yoursportsedge.com, on Twitter at Vault's Views. Tina would be a contributor to Larry's site, would write articles there. And a couple of years ago, she had stopped. She wasn't going to write anymore, wasn't going to cover games anymore because she had adorable grandbabies that she was going to spend more time with, go to games with, take them to games. And that was what she was going to do. And so your heart goes out to the grandbabies. Tina's husband, Rusty, is a great guy. Her two children, Charlie and Courtney. She's going to be missed by all. She worked at the courthouse there in Boyle County. They're going to miss her. She was just a pillar in the community and such a fun person. Love the cats just as much as anybody else. So condolences to the Cox family. And there's no way I could do this episode without talking about Tina. And we're definitely going to miss her. Didn't get her on this podcast. That's one thing I regret as well. She had come on the other one I host, Cats Talk Wednesday, multiple times. One time from the Bahamas, one time from Toronto for the Global Jam. So just a wonderful lady, and she's definitely going to be missed. And again, condolences to Rusty, her kids, and her grandkids, and everybody that knew her. So just gonna definitely be missed. RIP to Tina Cox. She was something else for real. If you got to know her, you know what I'm talking about. Put a bow on this episode. Appreciate everybody that takes the time to watch and listen. If you give it a second to rate, review, and subscribe, we definitely appreciate it. We'll be back next week with Cole Park, and we'll see what he's talking about. Be that much closer to the season. We'll hop on out of here. We'll say go Cats. Everybody stay safe, and we'll be back real soon. Go Cats.